and I've now.
Hey, everybody, we're listening to Scott tell us how he quit smoking. Oh, and now I'm not even ready for that. So, hey, everybody, welcome to the really sloppy opening of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
You want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taylor.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The king, your majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taylor.
Hey, there you go. You know, we have such an awesome opening, and then we are always so effing sloppy bringing it in. It's like, instant contrast as soon as you welcome.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. I missed you guys on Tuesday. I'm glad we got the contracts straightened out, and I'm very proud to say that now after the show, I get two.
No. You're not
two bananas.
Stop holding out in training camp, John. What are you doing?
Tell you what, Scott, that's what you got to do. Right now, you're just getting the peels from my two bananas, but you can get a banana yourself. All right, with the awesome new background there, my friend Jesse Martin is over there because everything's backwards when I'm looking at it. There he is over there. How you doing this week, Jesse?
Oh, doing good. Thank goodness it's fucking Friday, man. It's been a long, goddamn hot week.
It's like it's been 5 fucking whole days.
It's it's over now. I got time for a little bit of time for some rest and relaxation.
Some frivolity.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to think about what they do in Southern Virginia for frivolity, but I'm sure that if I just say those words, our good friend Scott from Barrow and Furnace, UK, can come up with his own imagery. How you doing, Scotty?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. It's great to see you again. Happy 60th. We did shout you out on the last pod, and your young offspring was with us in the chat. So I hope you had a really good time, and you don't look a day over 52. So
that's the way it goes, man. I'll tell you what. I can remember. Because I'm old now. I'm officially old, and I can bring up old shit and talk about the old days. Back on my old podcast, one day it came out that I was 50 years old, and that generated more goddamn email than I could shake a stick at. People were like, "No way, get the fuck out, no way." So I'm happy to say that. Anyway, we had a good week of practices from everything that I read, from everything that I heard. We scrimmaged up with the Ravens, and look, you hate to say these kinds of things, but we kicked their fucking ass, right? Right? We went out there and cleaned house with those mothers.
Yeah, we did. And 2 days of really good joint practice, Jesse. I mean, I was thoroughly impressed, and I'm sure you were too. The only downside of it is obviously injuries from stupid shit, shall we say? Like Mark Andrews, if you're playing on Monday night, watch out, because I think maybe a big boy up front coming for you.
Yeah, I missed it on the last podcast. Yeah, I was pretty irritated with Mark Andrews. I mean, it's nonsense. The motherfucker was,
he's been getting whooped up on.
He slapped the ball, calls them the fumble, so Mark Andrews goes and body slams him, and then injures Danny Johnson, a top backup, on our team. It's frustrating.
It's a rotator cuff injury, isn't it? He's
it's just a strain, so I don't think it's too damaging. And I mean, I blame the Baltimore school system. It's going to hell, and Mark Andrews is a result of what happens there. So,
but all in all, I thought we had a really good week. I mean, I wouldn't say we kicked the shit out of the Ravens. They had that's a good team. That's a good team right there, and we held our own and exceeded expectations by a lot of people's part. We're starting to get a little bit of hype from the outside world. Not all your local media that's seeing the team every single day. But when you have people from the other side coming over and saying, "Hey, this team looks real and it's starting to look good." Sam Howell was named starter today. No surprise there. I'm not sure where all this angst has been from.
There has to be angst from somewhere.
We knew this, and Ron Rivera said from a while ago, all along, that he was waiting until the joint practices to make sure that Sam takes the proper steps in learning and making just progress. And he's done that. And he did exactly what he was going to say. And we still have people like, why didn't Ron just name from I don't get it. It doesn't.
Well, people have to have drama. You know that.
Yeah.
That's what the whole of social media is all about, is trying to find some drama somewhere. And I mean, I had plenty of it today with some comments that I made yesterday. And cheers to those guys that stuck with me and had a good discussion. Okay, so Scott, what do you think of all the drama about that kind of crap?
Yeah, just come on now. I mean, are we talking about the Naga stuff? I
don't know. Pick whatever drama you want. Frankly, I forgot what we were talking about.
We're talking about Sam Howell and
Sam Howell and the drama.
Refusal to name him starter, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I did mention it in our WhatsApp group, and obviously, Jesse, you talked about exactly the same. You said this was the kind of timing that you thought was going to happen, and originally they were told, just after the joint training session days with Baltimore, that's when we would look to make Sam Howell the most likely starter, and that has happened. So the timeline of events is spot on from what you've told me.
Yep.
I wasn't really bothered about it at all. Sometimes Ron does have the tendency to kind of almost not fumble the bag with the media, but he doesn't do the very best with the media, handling the media, especially being the DC media, which is very different. To you've got that national scope there. They're very prodding, they're very probing. I almost put them towards our like paparazzi.
They're assholes in a lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's be brutally honest. Yeah, that is exactly what they
can be assholes.
Look at Scotty trying to be all proper.
He is. He's trying to be proper. And we can go ahead and say it that when Ron was down in Carolina, he'd get questions like, "Hi there, Ron. How'd you like the second quarter? Did you think that the pie that they were selling in the concession stand was pretty good?"
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it's these can be brutal, and sometimes he doesn't come out with the right things, or he seems to labor the point on how long it's going to be before things like starters are named. It's always been like that under Ron. It's always been quite late. So
I think Jesse's right, because he did say he wanted to see these practices with them.
He did, yeah.
Jacoby Brissett, according to John Keim that I listened to the other day, has had one day in which he worked a couple of series with the ones, and it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So this is a foregone conclusion. The fucking fact that people need to have it named, say it. Who gives a shit? Quit crying, get your panties out of the crack of your ass, because it really doesn't make any difference. There's been no question about who's going to be the starter, and we've known it since the goddamn end of the season last year. We've known it, right?
We all knew that it was Sam was going to have to go lose this job.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It was his to lose.
It was his to lose from the freaking beginning.
Right.
So this cannot come at no surprise. And I'm, saying this to you, Grant and fucking Danny, get
because they're here.
Over your goddamn fucking selves. and I mean, they threw a conniption fit on the radio for the past 2 days about why haven't fucking Ron named him the starter yet. I mean, he said it from the beginning. Hey, this is going to be a process, man. Let's see what he does at these joint practices. This is a big, big step for him. And if he takes control, and if he continues the process and to learn and to make the progress that we want him to see, then he's going to be QB1. But until then, and the fucking practice is over with. He did everything he was supposed to do, and guess what? Ron fucking named him QB1 for the season.
Hello. Listen, I'll tell you what. We did have a microphone in the green room, I guess what they call it, where Grant and Danny do their show prep, and this is what we heard. God damn it! This team's looking pretty good. What are we gonna do? We got to come up with some kind of shit to cry about. People are gonna turn us off.
Yeah.
To labor your point there, I mean, and on your point, you're absolutely right. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, let's be perfectly honest here. He is the highest paid backup quarterback in the NFL. Now, you're telling me that he didn't come. Yes, he is at $8.5 million. He's the highest.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other backups and what
No, but he is the highest paid.
I mean, $8 million is not. It's not starter money.
No, not for a backup
as well.
Yeah, for a backup, that's good. So you come in, and we all said it in the close season. Jacoby Brissett was ideal, who we wanted to come in and mentor Sam Howell. He's came in, he's done that. At the same time, you're telling me that when he came here, he didn't ask that question and say, okay, I'm normally on about 5 to 6 million. You give me 8.5, and I will 100% mentor him, and I'll sit behind him and hold the clipboard.
Sure.
Of course he's done that. He's known that's going to happen.
Yeah. And
where's
listen,
this contrived drama coming from?
yeah, I don't know.
Is it because there's nothing to talk about off the field now? That was
And if you
suddenly
kn-
going, oh shit, what do we do? What do we do?
If you know anything about this team,
There it
there's
is.
a good damn chance Jacoby Brissett's going to
gonna
play
start
a little bit, you know?
Right.
Right.
I mean, we've played
Well,
three
you know,
fucking
look,
quarterbacks.
How many quarterbacks were there that played last year? It's like 76 quarterbacks started a game last
70,
year.
74, wasn't it, John?
74.
Yeah.
It's the attrition rate at quarterback is crazy, which I would like to once again bring up. One of my most disgusting, fucking filthy things that I think about the goddamn NFL is, Jesus Christ, Roger, you changed all these fucking rules to protect these guys, and look, nothing protects them. You should stop this bullshit. Stop getting these defensive guys called for all these stupid fucking penalties, because you can't protect people in a violent, collision-driven sport.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Right.
And these defensive ends are just getting bigger and bigger and faster and stronger.
Speaking of defensive ends, now, okay, going up to the Ravens practices, we might as well go ahead and try to make this look something like a show. We do have a couple of viewers up there. Hi, how are you? And by the way, Pete Sidorn, my man's been with me for years, man. That dude used to listen to the Bang Radio Hour, write us all the time, man.
Well, it's good to have.
And
Peter.
he's an Englishman.
Oh,
nice.
Listen, we got lots of Englishmen that join our show and listen to our show. So it's a pleasure to have you aboard.
Right. And hey, the fact that, we semi-speak your language, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Pete will tell you the time that we had the Japanese call for the Super Bowl when Tom Brady beat the freaking Falcons. Oh, my God. It was one of the funniest things I ever heard. But it's really kind of, against proper protocols to laugh about things like that. But it was goddamn funny. All right. So coming up on the practices. Number one, Sam Howell, you did bring him up first, so we might as well start at the top. He is the quarterback one. Look, did I read this right? On the first day of practices, again, everything is caveat with this is practice. This is fucking practice. But he was like 12 for 15. Yeah. I don't care if it's practice or not. Those DBs are trying to stop the pass. Right? Now, I know he's not getting rushed. He might they rush, but then they stop. He was great just day one. Yeah, he came down to earth a little bit day two, but he still was good from all accounts. But day one was opened a lot of people's eyes. Especially because there was a lot of media there too, outside media as well. You had NFL Network, Justina Anderson, you had Sherry Burris there. You had even the Ravens broadcasters were really surprised, and it was funny. You have some of the Ravens players saying that we had no idea who the quarterback was going to be. We thought Jacoby Brissett was going to be out, was QB1. They didn't know, but I mean, he showed up and showed out, and yeah, man, I think he had a great couple of days.
Did you see Lamar Jackson's stats off the end of day one?
He certainly wasn't nearly as good.
11 of 22.
Well, I'll tell you what, our DBs were knocking the ball around. Yeah. And they've been knocking the ball around in our practices, and they were knocking the ball around somewhat on last week on Friday night,
Tuesday, Wednesday as well.
So the fact of the matter is, I kind of like what I saw out of this whole thing. I liked Malcolm Forbes starting fights. I liked it. All right. And whoever this was up in Baltimore that thought he got thrown around, big deal. Dude, you threw around a 175-pound guy.
Yeah.
Big fucking deal. But the fact that he was
pissed at Mark Andrews Wheaties. I don't know why.
Because they were harassing him, not just him, but that Malcolm Forbes, the Emmanuel Forbes play where he's poking at the ball and he won't stop until the ball comes out, and the guy turns around and stupidly punches him in his face mask. But that's the thing. They're
Did you see how fast Forbes's hands are? I mean, they were.
So they were fucking with the Ravens, and Mark Andrews lost his cool. He lost his cool, and he'll probably be sitting out on Monday night because they don't want a chance.
I think, John, we had this discussion last time we were all three of us were on here with Ken as well, actually, and we talked about the offensive. We talked about the offensive line, and we were very low on the offensive line, and we were thinking to ourselves, is it going to be any good? We reviewed the Browns game, and we knew it had its lumps against the Browns. But the day one of practice, this offensive line held up, and it held up well, and that for me,
did okay.
You're going against a perennial playoff team in the Ravens. and
Right.
they're no mugs. You know what I mean? Yeah, they might not have an amazing.
They ain't no mugs.
But they're not mugs.
No
They're not
mugs.
mugs. So I'm quite comfortable, and I think a lot of it is we've been very low on them, but actually they're running against an extremely good defense. And when you see our defense playing against the Ravens offense, it proves to you when you've got, Deron Payne, who looks unbelievably fast, by the way.
Him and Allen both.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jonathan Allen just running dudes over, and you're thinking to yourself, okay. And then even, Andre Jones, who we would never even thought of, has been taking first team reps.
Yeah.
And this guy, you're like, hold on a
He's
minute,
been earning the first team reps.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we
getting
have
mentions
a
off the coaching
sincere.
staff.
The coaches have a sincere problem at defensive end as to
Yep.
what they're going to do behind Young and Sweat, because that's a great thing. That's a great thing. It is about time.
Getting cut.
We've
said this before.
Bad cuts.
We've said that's right, especially along the defensive line. We're going to lose some people we don't want to lose. And what is he, a 7th round pick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, a 7th round pick these days isn't something you just cast off. And I think that he's probably going to work himself into a job, but he's got there's some tough competition ahead of him. So
I still don't think he makes the team.
Even
Andre
Jones, they
Jones?
can hide him.
No. Still,
I think
they might. I think they'll try and stash him on the practice squad, but I think he ends up somewhere else. I
think he's going to be your number 2 defensive end behind Chase Young.
All right, so Chase Young. Chase Young spent most of these practices on the sideline, yelling and hollering and chirping and shit like that. But so, do you find anything? Are you bothered by this at all?
No.
Why don't they hold him out of this?
No.
A stinger. A stinger. You should be all right by Tuesday. Or
no, depends what the stinger is.
Yeah,
Honestly.
Stingers it can
it is a neuro injury.
Jarrett. What was his first name? Keyshawn Jarrett.
Keyshawn Jarrett. Scouts mentioned it in our chat the year before.
So you're not talking about the pervert that did Subway ads.
Right? His started with the stinger. It could kind of affect the nerves. It could be a little bit numb, and sometimes it just takes time for it to go away. There's different levels of it, and they're being. I have
no problem with caution.
I bet if it was in season right now, he'd be on the field. He'd be playing.
Yeah, most likely.
I agree. Even if they held him out of practice, I would expect him on Sunday.
Yeah.
So, and a Monday. Look, honestly, I said this last week. If the starters don't play much, I don't care. Last week, I thought that they, because I didn't get a chance to talk with you guys, the fact that they kept Sam Howell in there for a few series, I thought was okay. He needed it, right? They needed it, but he did move the team. He's got him, he got him down the field, even though it didn't go very far. Getting a safety, but look, I don't want to see too much out of the starters anymore. All right, I want to see offensive line work, and I want to see depth work.
I disagree a little bit. I want to see a full half, and I think this is more for the offensive line than anything else. Listen, we're not going to see any of this. The Ravens starters. John Harbaugh doesn't play many of his starters in preseason anymore. I think the more this offensive line can get out and play against another team, I think the better that they're going to be. They need time to gel. They need this work to gel, and you need to find out if Shaquille Charles is what's going on with his calf. If Chris Paul, is he going to work, or are you going to try to work in Larson or Stromberg? Thank goodness for positional flex ability, because of the fact that we're still having an issue at the guard position and being able to play multiple positions. That's
how do you?
It's required.
How do you genuinely, yeah. Okay. Do you both? That's what I was going to ask you. That was the question I was going to bring up there. How do you both feel about positional flex? Because for me,
I think
all I want to see is a center play at center. You want to see your best right tackle play at right tackle, and only play at right tackle.
It starts that way. It starts that way.
What are you? Look, tell me what you're going to do as a center who's the best center in the SEC and come out and got an award for it. And now you're telling him, I want you to take snaps at right guard. You don't do that in any other sport. You don't ask centre half in soccer to play left wing just in case someone gets fucking injured. At the end of the day, if someone is going to get injured during a game, you're going to bring either someone off the bench, you're going to bring someone up from the practice squad the following week, or you're going to get someone off the couch. That's what's going to happen.
All right. So listen, this is how it's not like you're asking a wide receiver to move in and play offensive line.
I understand that. Yeah.
Your offensive line, especially the three.
That would be funny.
Yeah. Especially your guards.
By the way, Tiami, you're now playing at right guard.
That's right. You better pack on 200 pounds before freaking Sunday.
Yeah. Especially your guards and center should all be interchangeable because the concepts are the same. All right. One just can fucking hike the ball to the quarterback. Right. So if you can play center, then you should damn well should be able to play guard.
Not only that, but look, I'll go back and you can make believe for all of you ladies that tuned in to see Naked Friday and once again are disappointed that Keith isn't here. Keith will yell at me, but if I go back to even the old days, all right, when we had the Hogs, they all could play all over the goddamn line, and it was necessary because we had injuries, all right, and I mean Joe Jacoby played everywhere but center as far as I know, right? So I think he did.
Yeah, you can only have so many people on the 45. You can dress 45 players. You can only have so many people. So you have to have people that can play multiple positions.
Positional flex, all right, is a term that's been overused and is really pretty much normal. All right.
Yeah, it is.
Wide receivers playing in special teams when they first come into the league happens all the damn time. Safeties, quarterbacks, players playing on special teams. You can have guys. I've seen wide receivers convert to safety. I've seen quarterbacks. I saw fucking Michael Robinson, quarterback at Penn State, convert to fullback. All right, when he came to the NFL.
Do you not know that Logan Thomas was a quarterback once?
Yes. Oh, yeah, I knew that. So it happens all the time. But so yeah, positional flex is just one of these things that Ron put a word to that is pretty fucking much normal. You know,
the objective is to get your best 5
right
on that offensive line.
And you are going to suffer attrition. It's a freaking part of the goddamn game.
Very
rarely.
How many centers have we gone through? How many?
Always on a third center.
This is why we've stocked up with so many centers. Is because the past 3 years we've gone through so many centers, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Dude, that's what I said before last week's game when we were talking about third string guards, and I was like, well, that's usually by October is first string guards for us because we take the injuries. So
and NFL fact of the week.
Look, Stromberg, he's going to be a stalwart on our offensive line for years to come.
Sure.
Okay,
they're just giving him some versatility.
Yeah. And could it be at guard? It might be at guard. I mean, or is it center? You know, he might prove to slide in at guard and stay there. If we got another center, the object is to get your best 5. If you have to mix and match and play somewhere, who knows? Wiley might end up at guard before the fucking year is over with. The object is to get your best 5 to give your quarterback the best protection as possible.
We talked a couple of weeks ago there about the rule around the dressing the third quarterback. I went back and I checked it out, and actually, you don't need that third quarterback to be in your 53 active roster.
So you can leave him up in the crowd and
practice in the practice. Got to be on the practice squad. Is it a minimum?
Okay, yeah, okay. I didn't know if it was the 40 because you dress 45. I didn't know if it was part. Okay, I didn't know if it was part of that.
Extra.
So he dresses, but does he have to stand away from the team? Does he have to? Do they have to
he can be with the. He can be with the team.
He's got to be waiting in the tunnel. He's got to be waiting in the tunnel.
He has to stay by himself, right?
But weirdly,
what about the offensive lineman? Don't we get an extra?
I have yet to ever hear anybody tell me why we can't dress.
I didn't hear about that. But what I did read on that QB was interesting. Was it said that if one of the QBs who are out of the game, so if 1 and 2 obviously go down, if one of them becomes fit again and they can play, then you have to pull the third quarterback off the field. So at some stage, if we do need it, obviously, what's his name? Who's our third choice QB now? Jake Fromm.
Oh, Fromm.
He will be pulled up potentially, which is that's an interesting, weird, one of them weird anomalies, but I suppose it helps the 49ers get out of a pickle. Who, if you've watched
last year,
if you watched any of their preseason or any of their training camp at all, best of luck to them because their quarterback situation is horrible.
Yeah,
didn't I say on this podcast that year when they drafted Trey Lance?
Yes,
how much
you did.
Spent? I was like, oh my god, if this doesn't work, this is going to blow up in their faces like you wouldn't believe.
Honestly,
I don't care if they might end up with a quarterback with Purdy. They really might. They might end up with a guy.
Nobody's giving Kyle Shanahan any shit about this. I don't hear nothing about that.
Holy shit!
But if
Scott, you look like a freaking take your glasses back.
I look like a 12-year-old now.
He looks like a gerbil. He should be like sitting there in front of you.
Fucking blind as a bat, like without these. That's for sure. Oh, jeez. Yeah, right. It looks like I'm looking at Japanese porn, but it's that fuzzy. But yeah,
it's that foggy.
But yeah, they are in serious. They're in the hurt locker right now. Purdy threw 11 interceptions in 2 days at training.
You could. Well, that's good.
You always have one team that is up there one year, and then the next year they fall down, and could be the San Francisco 49ers. But anyways, about the positional flex, I think there's a kind of a misnomer about this is because all teams do this, and you just hear about it a lot, and people are upset by the word, but it's what teams do. Yeah. They only got so many people that they can fit on their roster on game day, so they got to be able to make adjustments on the fly.
Look, I've said it again. Somebody please explain to me why they can't dress all 53. What is the logical reason behind it? What is the advantage that anybody would gain from dressing their 53 goddamn players on their roster? Yeah, they not have enough uniforms? Are they only allowed to have 53 pairs or 45 pairs of shoes in the stadium? What's the fucking deal here?
Only 46 jock straps allowed.
I guess so, right? All right. So what if a guy wants to go out without one? Can you get an extra guy dressed? Jesus Christ. Well, I got to say, some of those guys, man, they could use something a little extra down there, at least while they're on television. But, hey, we're not going to go there. We'll probably get some video of that later on this year.
All right, so we talked about our QB1.
Right, we talked about QB1. We talked about our defensive line. At least we talked about the defensive end somewhat. I'm curious. I've heard lots of great things coming out about Jahan Dotson. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're going to hear good things about Terry. Our tight ends, Cole Turner, apparently, I thought he had some nice catches against the Browns. I thought that I really like the fact that the quick game, you seem to highlight the tight end, which we've seen it come at from Kansas City. And what have I always said? And this is nothing original. The best friend of a young quarterback is a good tight end in a running game. What do you think of the running game at this juncture? Rodriguez, to me, in practice, looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, for running back 3, sure. We
got this fullback too, Armwell. It's busted head.
And I think you're going to see Alex. He's going to be. Is that his name? Yeah, he's going to be. Kind of play that.
He's an H-back role. He's an H-back, not a halfback. You said that last week.
Halfback H-back.
He's the H-back.
Look, I think this running game with Brian Robinson, you're going to see. I think you're going to see a lot more of him, especially in the short passing game, than everybody expects. From all reports, he's, John Keim stating that his role has definitely been a lot more advanced in the passing game than you, because everybody thought Antonio Gibson, this is perfect offense for Antonio Gibson. And it
could be,
from what Keim was reporting, that Brian Robinson's getting a lot of those screen looks and those running back, this running back out in the flats, and he's got good hands. He's really good hands.
Let me pop in on this real quick, because when you see the Chiefs do this kind of stuff, their running backs are 5'3", 175 pounds, soaking wet, right? They get these little Jerick McKinnon guys, these fast little, and they always have. Jamal Charles, I never thought was a big guy, and as I think, if I recall right, that was Andy Reid's first really top back that he had there. But I never thought of him as a big guy, but he fucking ran great. All their running backs are so small. Dude, Antonio Gibson, I think, is anything but small. That guy is like 235 pounds.
He's gained probably 6 pounds in muscle since the offseason. He's gotten bigger. He's definitely cut up.
He comes in there quick, man. And I'll tell you what, seeing those kinds of Chiefs plays, which we're expecting to see with a guy like him or with a guy like Robinson, who I've heard has cut himself somewhat in terms of his weight. He's gotten rid of some of the flab. He's feeling himself back to normal, he says, but he's cut now, man. He's gotten his body fat down to shit. I don't know what 0.05 or whatever it is. I don't know how these guys do it, but they do. And he's looking sharp. So I said after the Browns game, guys, I didn't get to talk to you guys, but I noticed, and in practices too, they were lining him out wide a lot. Yeah. And then they motioned him back in. But putting him out there is sending a signal. It's, I mean, granted, this is preseason and they're not trying to send too much, but shit, you start to put that in a regular season game and start to hit some of these plays.
Some of the
I'm feeling good, boys. By the way, Scott Hartley, ladies and gentlemen. Scott.
The good things that you're hearing about the offensive line is from the run game, and how they're pretty good, opening up holes for the running back. So you're living under a rock if you think we're just going to be passing the ball all the fucking time. That's just not fucking happening. We are going to be a run first team, at least for the foreseeable future until, Hal gets a little bit more experience. We talk of Jahan Dotson and we talk of Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel and Logan Thomas, but the running game is where it's going to start.
And that's where it's going to an extension of the running game. Sure. These little, I saw these also in the Browns game. Cole Turner, 3 steps, turn around, pop. Cole Turner, 3 steps, turn around, pop. Little ins, little outs, just turn around, pop. Those things move the fucking chains. They move the goddamn chains, and they set up those passes downfield, and we know Hal can hit them.
You know what we need, though, is that quick game leads to 2 things, John. You're right. It's either short gains, which means that by the time you're on 3rd down, you're on 3rd and 3, not 3rd and 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Stretching the field, hoping for that play to think, you know what, I've got to do this here. It's managing the down and managing the expectation of what you need per there. It's the game of inches, as it's always been known, and it's
you got to
make sure you get there.
You got to stay out of the unforced error.
Yeah,
like we saw
big right there.
Tuesday or Friday night. I mean, they started to move the ball well, and then boom, 10-yard penalty, 15-yard. We saw this last year when they started to be able to compensate for their shit offensive line. Boom, 10-yard penalty, and then you start to think, well, maybe they're compensating because they just told them to go out there and fucking hold.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, this team, Sam Howell, he's not experienced enough to be able to dig them out a hole time and time again.
No, exactly. We have a shot, an outside shot to really do something good. And I'm not calling Super Bowl, but if you can get in the game and in the dance at the end, who knows? But you can't shoot yourself in the foot. That's what championships don't do. You cannot shoot yourself in the foot.
What Scotty was saying earlier, your playbook is a hell of a lot bigger in 3rd and 3 than it is at 3rd and like 8 or longer.
7 or 8 or whatever. Yeah, but Christian Rodriguez on this running game, getting back to what John was talking about there, he just looks like a bowling ball with legs and arms. But honestly, this guy is running people over. He is getting downhill. He is a north and south runner by the looks of it. And I was quite impressed against the Browns. I thought, actually, yes, I know it's second team, defense. That
doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. You're running for the first time in the NFL against a live opponent.
Right.
Who you've not seen in practice.
Right.
And he did his job. And that's all you can ask for a 6th rounder. Do your job, get there. I think we could have a hidden gem there, I really do think we could have a hidden gem. Can you imagine it, right? You're a defensive end or you're a DT and you're tired and you think to yourself, holy shit, we just cannot get off the field here. We cannot stop them. And you've had dose of Brian Robinson. You've had a few trick plays, a few short, quick stops here from, the Curtis Samuels and the Antonio Gibsons of the world. Then all of a sudden, who's this kid coming in here? Oh, it's Chris Rodriguez. Shit. That is all you want. That is not what you want to see.
Right. He squares behind his path well, and he finds the hole well. That's the thing that I like. That's exactly it. So what I'm seeing and what I'm reading and hearing, and I mean, granted, I'm not at practice and I'm not some fucking guy that, let me tell you what I've seen, because most of those guys don't know what the fuck they're looking at. But what I'm hearing from people that do know what they're looking at, Robinson is hitting the freaking hole fast. And that's one thing I've always hated about our team is it always seems like we're running at a slower gear than everybody else. But right now, we're not. To go way back, because I'm actually on some cold medicine and I'm probably more than I should be about it. But to go way back, look, one of the things that
heavy machinery, John.
No heavy machinery around except for this here water bottle and these here beer cans.
That's good.
So, we're good to go. But look, when on the first day of practice, one of the things that stood out to me, and this came from JP Finley, so take it for what it's worth there, but he said that the Commanders came out of the tunnel fired up, ready to go, whereas the Ravens came out kind of flat. Mm-hmm. And to me, how often have we seen our team just get blown off the fucking ball instantly out of the game within the first, like 2 series, 3 series, and you just know they're done. I'll tell you what, man, I think that they have started to believe in themselves, and I think that this week helped them believe in themselves. And I don't really care if they go up and win this game on Friday, or Monday, and I don't think they care whether they go up and win this game on Monday. However, we know the Ravens fucking care because it's their undefeated preseason.
I really want to fucking beat the Ravens. I hope we fucking play our starters all 4 quarters just to beat
I don't want to do
Ravens.
that. I don't want to do that. But, we can call Steve Spurrier. We were talking about that last week with Ken, man, about Steve Spurrier in Osaka. Go out there, run all your plays. Just don't seem too hard. And we get him to come up in there and do something. Yeah, fuck the Ravens and their stupid undefeated preseason. And by the way, for any Ravens fans that do happen to be listening, if you even bring that up even one time, I am going to not only laugh at you, but I'm really going to make some bad judgments about your parentage. Just let's go get that right out of the way.
Yeah, right. Early doors, that one again for me, John and Jesse. So I am not going to watch it. I'm going to turn everything on to airplane mode. Do not answer my phone. I might watch an hour in the morning before I'll go to work, watch an hour at lunchtime, and then watch an hour when I get home. So hopefully with a bit of luck, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Peter, we do too. I'd like to
stop
that streak. I really would.
Will it be 29? Is it if they win again? Is it 28 they're on at the moment?
I think it's 26 right now.
I think that gets them right into the who fucking cares region. I swear to God, this is like being the masturbation champion of the goddamn world. Who fucking cares? Seriously, that's what it is.
How many of you knocked out Jesse? A solid 7 this week. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. Jeez.
24. Jesus, Peter, that's a lot. I
gotta tell you,
you need to see someone about that.
Once they start selling the shower heads that you can take down.
Yeah. We're not going there. We're not going there.
It's too late. We already went there. We are cheeky bastards, as you people in the UK would call us.
Absolutely.
All right. So today in practice, okay, we practiced. I don't think we practiced with the Ravens today, right?
No. It was just a kind of like a walkthrough type of practice. No pads.
I think fans were in attendance though, weren't they? Were allowed to be there today, Jesse?
Yeah, tomorrow I think is the last day of fan attendance, and I think the camp breaks. So training camp is, I think, officially over with.
I am very impressed with camp this year. And I'll tell you, the reason why is I think that it has been a damn sight more physical. It's been a damn sight more energetic. It's been a damn sight more intense and urgent. I like that. I like that a lot because we have seen fucking our Club Med camps for so long that the best video that came out of camp today was fucking Deshaun Jackson giving him a goddamn twitty twister. Giving Jay Gruden a twitty twister, right? I can't even say twitty twister.
A twitty twister?
Yeah, a twitty twister. I thought I saw some titties. Anyway. So yes, I'm very happy with how things are. Go ahead, Scott. Save me from myself.
No, I'm just saying we've only got 11 days now. So next, what we on? We can do Monday, maybe. When's our next show? Tuesday, actually. That'd be
Tuesday,
interesting. So
right.
maybe not do the Tuesday the 29th. Maybe next Friday then the 25th. Maybe we do 53-man roster breakdown. What we think it's going to be because the Tuesday is going to be the cut down day. So you go from 90 down to. We're done.
Yeah. It sounded like Scott was wrapping things up there.
No, I think he was just talking. Well, we do need to do our
things out there.
Our superlatives. And we do. Is going to happen and go through the NFL, make our season predictions. We got to do that as well. So,
as anybody might know, the 3 that you see here, this trio of geniuses, we make our picks on Saturday afternoons live here on YouTube. We have ourselves a hell of a good time. And, we bet a lot of money, and some of us win and some of us don't.
But we all came out in the black last year. So we all
sure
did.
Yeah, we did indeed. Yeah, we did indeed. If I look at
sure did. And then I was immediately canceled. They said, my God, he can't dress like that. Get him out of here.
Yeah, we got the embossed book of betting.
That's right. That big embossed book. Okay, so everybody, there you go. You now have something to do on Saturday afternoons because.
But yeah, for our team, we do this every season. We do our on our main shows is the superlatives, what we think, how we think certain players on the team's going to do. We'll do our season projections, and we'll have that probably after. We'll do the roster projection before the third season preseason game, I would think.
Yeah.
What day is cut down day?
The day after,
29th.
I think. Yeah.
29th, the Tuesday the 29th. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, we would do something. We might be able to get together that weekend or something like that. But for those of you that are just joining us, we do these kinds of things during the season.
Yeah.
We do this. Yes.
Shut up! Sit the fuck down and shut up!
Shut up and sit down.
Will you shut up?
Just sit your ass down here and shut up.
Yes, that is exactly right. That is for people that need to sit this fuck down and shut the fuck up about stupid shit that they're talking about. Like, oh my God, that beer can had a rainbow on it. I will never watch football again. I guarantee you that's only a few people. And I had a good discussion about that today. But Jesus Christ, if a fucking beer can is making you stop watch football, you're the one that's the loser. You have given up what you love because what?
Yeah.
So because of marketing, you fucking idiot.
And people, I just don't realize this, but InBev, Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light, Budweiser, they sponsor about 23 teams, NFL teams.
They're the second largest sponsor of the NFL behind PepsiCo, who also puts. Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing: you got to see if you really want to boycott. Okay. You know what? That's your right. As an American, I think that is a fundamental right. Your dollar is as loud as your vote. It's louder. All right. Your dollar can affect things. That's how our system is built. If you don't like it, don't spend your money on it. If you don't want it, don't go to it. But holy fucking shit. If you saw how many companies these two companies own, you'd never be able to. Good luck with your freaking boycott. And good luck. Yeah. Good luck with your boycott. You ain't going to be able to do jack shit, nothing but sit around like you're a goddamn Amish person on Sunday afternoon and have a sewing circle with you and your buddies. That's all you're going to be able to do. Yeah. You can't fucking play golf or anything.
It's piss week lager anyway, to be fair.
It is. It's disgusting, nasty, awful goddamn. You should boycott it just for that. It's fucking horrible.
I don't care if it's got whatever the message is on there.
Meanwhile, I'm drinking nothing.
That's a nasty beer right there. That's
is that Miller Lite?
Miller's disgusting.
What are you? I mean, what is it with? Like, no offense, and this is not well. He probably will take a massive offense to it. If anyone is listening, I mean, we drink European lager. Obviously, we drink lager from Germany. We drink lager from
in it.
But I mean, what is the fascination with light beer? I mean, we've got fucking Keith who's
got less calories. It's less calories. We're looking out for our.
It's not even that it's light beer. In all honesty, I can't stand the people that are going to yell at me because they're all going to make fun of me. This stuff tastes pretty good to me. I like a Pilsner, which is hard to find in this country.
Yeah, Pilsner. I'm all right with that.
All right. I like a beer that gives me a little bite on the tongue. That, you know what? This, look, I can, all these people, they're going to tell me, oh, you know what? You should drink Frou barbecue sauce Mountain Dew IPA. It's delicious. My goodness. They're going to tell me some fucking shit that's honest to God. These people
Mango Peach IPA, John.
Exactly. You should drink a Mango Peach Guinness. You feel you're a real man now. Right. You know what happens when I drink a Guinness? I feel like I just stuffed a goddamn loaf of bread down my throat.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll send when I get to Dublin in 3 weeks' time. I'll send you the picture of my pint of Guinness. Yeah.
Christ. You know what? How you pour a Guinness like you pour ketchup? Jesus Christ.
He's got to have one. He's got to have one of them. You've got to have one of them. It's the law.
If I went to Ireland, yes, we would definitely.
Yeah, exactly. When you're in Dublin, you've got to have one. That's the fact.
When you're in Rome, you do as the Romans. And if you're in Dublin, you get pissed drunk like the Irish.
Give me some Mickey's malt liquor, and I'll be a happy man.
Mickey's.
What's that? Is that like
Mickey's, dude? You know what Mickey's is? If I were to freaking go into the gutter and drink a Coors Light, and then I had to take a piss into a bucket full of freaking radiated goddamn piss water, that is Mickey's, and they put it into
some
a
Steel
barrel.
Reserve, baby.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
Peter, I'll call him Pete. I don't know if he's called Pete, but Peter, who's in our chat, he'll know what a bottle of MD 2020 is. Mad Dog.
Mad Dog. Oh yeah.
You get a bit of Mad Dog out there as well.
When I was a kid, I used to wear.
when you're a kid.
When I was younger, I used to wear these big Jinko jeans that had big old pockets. And, the big jeans. I used to steal the fuck out of them, man. Oh yeah. They fit right in my back pockets. I could fit 4 of them in my pants.
Dude, the funny thing is that you think that the liquor store guy didn't know, but he was like, oh, thank God, somebody's got to get that shit out of here. He probably could claim it on his insurance. You know what? Hey, you know what? Somebody bought the MD 2020. I can't. Oh, my God, that stuff.
Yeah, the peach one was all right.
Manischewitz Concord grape. You know what? At least Boone's Farm strawberry, at least you could give it to a girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the Mad Dog, if you showed up at
we are so far off the rails right now.
We are way off. But it doesn't make any
It's fine, exactly.
So here's the question. Here's the question I'll put to you. Do you think it would be better to crack Mark Andrews over the head with a goddamn Mickey's wide mouth bottle or a bottle of MD 2020? Which are shaped exactly like a hip flask.
I'll take the
you.
Mickey's.
Yeah, exactly.
I could probably get a better grip on the Mickey's.
You can throw it from a long distance. It's like a hand grenade, right?
Yeah.
It even feels like one. So, all right. Yeah, we are way off.
Yeah, what are people freaking out over a sponsor for?
Well,
and then you've got this like fucking mental, like, sign this petition. Now we're not doing it because of the trans movement. I mean, what on earth is going on?
Getting over 100,000 signatures isn't nothing to stuff your nose up.
Yeah, no, I get
but they fucked all that up. They totally destroyed everything about what they did yesterday.
Well, these are things. Our country is in a culture war right now, and there are people that are behind the scenes pulling the puppeteer strings and trying to do everything they can to divide us. And this beer can thing is a perfect example because, we're way off in the weeds, but fascism requires a fucking scapegoat. Okay, so get it. Okay, get it.
Yeah.
All right, get it. Because the other thing fascism requires is a scapegoat, which eventually becomes you. All right, so we'll get off politics. It's not got anything to do with politics. It's really got more things to do with the way that people are easily manipulated into not watching football because of a beer can.
Yeah,
or 100,000.
A beer can by the same company, by the way, that entirely all through the summer puts out American flag beer cans on their parent label, Budweiser, and has country singers sing things like "Fuck you in a small town with my Budweiser can." This fucking for you is for the troops with my Budweiser can. So anyway, so do you think Sam Howell could kick the fuck out of somebody who's drinking Bud Light or not?
No, because he doesn't eat red meat. He only eats chicken. So nah.
Yeah, that's so okay.
Feed him a hamburger.
Somebody put out a GIF yesterday today of Sam Howell. It was this little kid, and he had, I guess it was his probably it was one of them little toy kitchens that
the easy bakes and everything.
And they had a big old fucking cookie sheet full of chicken nuggets, and the kid was all dancing, and they were like, Sam Howell at dinner tonight, celebrating his QB1 stat. It was the funniest fucking shit that I saw.
Fucking Keith Gray
tenders.
That was Keith Gray. That'll get him to come right on in here. I've been eating these chicken wraps and nothing but broccoli. God damn it.
Yes.
So
gains. He's all about the gains now, ain't he?
Right. So anyway, okay. So camp is going to break. We've got our quarterback. I guess really the only thing we can start to do now is kind of speculate. What is it you're looking? You want to see a full half of play out of all the starters, defense too?
Yeah.
On Monday.
Yeah, I do. I think maybe you can rotate a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball.
A lot. I want to see the linebackers play.
How about just have John Allen and Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, just let them play a quarter. And then maybe, because we got Ridgeway and Mathis probably won't be playing, but Andre Jones and Tuhill and all of them, let them finish up. But I want to see the offense on there for a whole entire half. And this has more to do with the offensive line than our playmakers and Sam Howell.
Well, yeah, but that puts Sam Howell at risk. I wouldn't mind seeing him just for a quarter. I wouldn't mind
Yeah,
seeing him for the
I'm
exact
good with
same
that.
time that we saw him last time. If they've already named him quarterback 1, okay, well then, September 10th is the thing that you're looking for. That's what you're aiming for. So let's do that. A quarter was fine last time. He got 3 series, even though one of them was a safety. He did move the team, right? It petered out at the end, but he did move the football team. So 3-4 series tops. Give me that first quarter, and I'm good with him.
Yeah, I'm the same, John. I think a quarter's good for the starters on the offensive line. Whether you keep that line, just the line itself, in for the half, I can get that. I understand that, Jesse, because they maybe do need the work, because the only question mark for me on the entire team is left guard still. And what's happening at left guard between Charles and Paul. The rest of it, I think, is pretty
Get Sadi Charles
solid.
on the next goddamn bus out of here.
I've
had it up to here with Sadi.
I know.
Speaking of the defensive line, they did kind of get pushed, manhandled in that first preseason game. So it'd be nice just to get them a couple series and let them do the manhandling because they did get pushed around. It looked like Cleveland looked like they could have done pretty much whatever they wanted to do on that.
Look, I don't mean to get political again, but isn't manhandling exactly the kind of stuff that got Bud Light in trouble in the first place and started this whole controversy?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Right. Way to go, Scott. My boy is as sharp as a goddamn bowling ball there, ain't he? Clean as a whistle.
That's what they say.
All right.
Shagging birds is for puffs. Yeah, anyway, moving on.
Okay, so, all right, like last week we saw Kaz return all kicks. All right, we saw on punt returns. Did we see Dax Milne at all on punt returns, or was it all
one?
Yes, we did.
returned
and
one.
He put his foot out. He put his
Right.
foot out of bounds for one of them as well.
Right.
I think Dax Milne's getting cut. He's going to be a surprise cut.
Surprise! I don't know, man. He's got Troy Apke written all over him.
Surprise!
Appy's making the team.
He's on IR. Apke's on IR.
It doesn't matter. You know what? Ron will be like, this kid, I just love him. I just love him.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's the interesting thing is because we've got a cut from 90 to 53. I really want to see these bottom of the roster guys and see what they actually can do. And I don't mean that rudely. These guys have got to earn themselves.
Oh, yeah, they know who they are.
Yeah.
They got to earn themselves. One person who actually hasn't stood out, and, actually, I'll go with 2 here. Ken was really high on both of them. I haven't seen much of them, and it's KJ Henry. And then on the offensive side of the ball, it's our guard, Braden Daniels. Right. Not a real word out of either of them. I mean, you're not cutting a 4th round and a fifth round pick. That's definitely not going to happen.
No.
But
I think that they knew Daniels was going to be a bit of a project,
a working project, yeah.
Right. And I mean, it seems to me that a lot of the linemen that they draft them prematurely. The only one that I can recall that has stepped in and started as a rookie has been Sam Cosby, that this group has drafted.
And that hasn't worked out, has it?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good about him at guard.
I heard from Doc Walker that Daniels had some really good work in the Ravens joint practice.
I heard the same thing out of John Keim and Jablava. They had a nice show the other day.
Yeah,
maybe I just didn't notice. That. But KJ Henry,
they're not a lot of these sports. They don't really concentrate on that second and third team. Most of the attention's on that first team stuff. But you do hear snippets from, like John said, Nikki Javala and Keim and Doc Walker was on the Kevin Sheehan show, the podcast version of it, and he said he really liked what he saw from Daniels. So
that's good.
Then he said the lawnmower gonna eat the donut. Let me tell you, the lawnmower eating the donut.
I love
the Bruin. I like Doc.
He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. I just love it after a game. If I can't sleep after a game and a game's still not on, I don't think we'll get it this year. But I just love listening to that radio calling.
I'll tell you
afterwards.
What. When he was on the sidelines, he was brilliant on the effing sidelines. He was brilliant because they would call down to him and he would say something like, "I'm just looking at this number 74 out here, and he's just a disgrace to physical fitness. Look at this doughboy." And the guy is right there. Doc is like ready to go out on the field, man. I loved it. He was the best on the sideline, man. He said some of the funniest shit.
Did you see Doc at the on the latest Commanders log, you know, they do that show, and it was the one with Josh Harris, and it was the alumni, and he was there, and they all stood up, and it was like, I've been here 1992 to 1999, and he just stood up and went, HTTC forever. I was like, yeah, my guy. I'm never changing.
Doc can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, you know what? I
don't care how punchy he ever
Doc,
gets.
he said we really don't get big guests on here, but he did say he'd come on our show sometime. So maybe we'll work that out.
I would love that. I would love that. That would be fun.
But yeah, I want to see the second team.
I want to see again. I want to see the depth of the wide receivers. We know who 1, 2, 3, 4 is. I thought Diami Brown showed out pretty good. 5. Who you got?
I think we've got 5 locked in. I think you're looking at all the way down to Brown as Diami Brown's 4th, isn't he? So and I think Pringle's
5.
locked on.
Pringle has definitely impressed. Now this kid,
Mitch Tinsley is 6.
Kemp,
and then Kemp's going to be 7.
That's where I'm going with it.
7
That's your it right there. We're going to
only because you're going to keep Kemp as a specialist more over than a wide receiver. I think he's your absolute special teams ace.
See, but you got to be able to fit in Casimir Allen somewhere.
Yeah,
that's the key.
So do you?
But
so
Mitch Tinsley's been doing really, really good, making some great catches in practice.
So then that if you're taking 8, then Jesse, then you cut in linebackers down to the absolute minimum.
You're going to have 4 linebackers. You're going to have 4 linebackers.
I think they've decided 3.
They've decided that linebacker is mostly played by our safeties nowadays, and I think you could probably stash Kaz Allen on the practice squad relatively safe.
Not if you want him returning punts and kicks.
You know, I think if we're going to be keeping 7 and Tinsley's one of them, and Kaz is on the outside looking in. I think for him, you could probably stash him faster and safer than you could stash Tinsley.
Or you say goodbye to Kemp.
You might say goodbye to Kemp.
I think you've got 3 special teamers.
Kemp's size,
normally. Normally you would take 3 special teamers, wouldn't you? So you're going to say Jeremy Reeves is one of them. Are you keeping Mayo as a specialist? Sure. And are you keeping Kemp? Because Mayo's very good on special teams.
Mayo's
and he can play linebacker somewhat.
Mayo's probably your if you have your 3 main linebackers will be Davis, Barton, and Hudson.
That's it. That's your 3. Yeah.
And then you're going to have a 4th, and that's probably going to be Mayo. I think they have to keep 4. They're going to have to
keep 3.
Well, Mayo, he'll make it for his special teams, but I would like to point out that this is what made me say that he can play linebacker. Because no, he can't play linebacker. David Mayo, if he's out there at linebacker, we are in serious trouble.
And we'll go through all this, right before the 3rd preseason game.
Of course we will.
Y'all got anything else?
No, I don't. That's what I was trying to go through some shit for. But Kaliki Hudson has been showing up pretty good from what I've understood. So
yeah, I got one more.
He was a little bit quiet at the joint practices though.
I've got one more bit of news and one more bit of thing that I think we could probably talk on. We touched on obviously now having Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, or whatever they're called, back as a sponsor, but we also picked up Verizon as a sponsor. So it's great to see that we are picking up these sponsorships again, and that now that the ownership has changed, people are actually wanting to do business with the team. Now, for me, that's a key. That's a key off-field thing. You're looking and going, well, hold on. We've got improvements to FedEx Field. We've got bigger screens going in. We've got a better sound system. We've got a better experience for the fans. We've got newer tables coming in. We've got better rails. They're trying to do whatever they can. $150 million worth of improvements. I mean, I know rails. It's like rolling, dude. It's like rolling.
That don't leak shit.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. But it's like rolling a turd in glitter. But you can make it look pretty, but it's still a turd. Look, but it's.
Here's what I say, and
I've always going to have to stay here until 2028. So there's not a lot we can do.
We say FedEx Field is a turd, but dude, that was built in what, 1997? Or excuse me, about 1997. All right, this is a stadium. This is a building. How long? It's been around for 25 years. And we're already talking about how it's decrepit and falling down. Who the fuck? This is what did Ken say last week about American workers, dude? It's ridiculous. There's a Coliseum over in Rome that's fucking hundreds of years old and still standing there. All right, the buildings are not meant to be decrepit and old after 25 years. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous.
Well, I just
agree.
done
We need a better facility, and I think
at work I've just done an accident report on a bit of sandstone that fell off a building, and it didn't hit anyone. It was close, but it's made from sandstone. And when I looked at the building is what we call a listed building, so you can't make like changes to the facade of it without proper planning permission, or you have to put the same stuff that was in there before. And sandstone, you can't use it in the construction game anymore. Yeah, the building was 1881.
So there you right.
So there you go, and we're still working in it, so it's fun.
It's a building, all right.
It's
concrete. Yeah. What do you mean it's falling apart? How did you build this damn thing? So yeah, I get kind of annoyed with that.
Yeah. I know.
But I do agree they could use a better place. I mean, I think they could change that into a better place. But I was listening today or the other day. They probably are going to sell the property in Ashburn.
Yeah.
Right. Get a better place, get a bigger facility, get a better facility, which would be nice. And I would think that would probably be part of what they're probably going to try to parlay into a gigantic complex like you see down in Dallas or you see up in New England, where they've got everything encompassed, including apartments.
So would you accept then? Because obviously for me, it's really difficult because I've never seen RFK. I've never experienced what you guys have experienced in the old days. I completely understand that the franchise's spiritual home is DC, and that's where it should be. But if you had something like the Star, if you like, that Dallas have in DC, and you had all of that complex, that training facility, the way that the community could use it, 24/7, 365, would you accept that if the stadium was, say, somewhere else? Don't know.
Somewhere else meaning what? Outside of DC?
Yes.
If it's in Virginia, if they decided to go in Virginia, they will probably have a complex like that.
Sure.
Right.
With a stadium kind of built into it. Because their headquarters have to stay in Virginia because of their
they get a
gambling rights. Yeah,
right.
And
is that what it's about? Is it?
The gambling money that they can pull in.
Now, DC, if you're going to rebuild RFK, it's just going to be the stadium and not much else around it.
There's not a whole lot of space there. The problem with that area is that what they'll have to do to build what they've got in mind is they're going to have to move some of those residents out of there. And I mean, that's not unheard of doing. They probably have to take down the armory, but I really don't like the idea of pushing people out. But and then it's backed up by the rivers. You ain't moving the river, right? So the space there is not so great. But I agree with Jesse. But then again, a business office can be a post office box.
That's true too. I just don't want it in Maryland. I really don't. No offense to Maryland, but fuck that.
Yeah, I don't really care. I go to my one game a year to see you guys, and that's about it. Right?
Yeah, we're named Washington. We should be in the city.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure. But at the same time, Washington, for me, all right, I've grown up. I've never lived in the city, all right, but I've grown up in Forestville. I lived all around this city my whole life. So when people ask me where I'm from DC, right? That's what it makes. So. That's just the way it is. These places are megalopolises anymore. It's very few places that actually have the stadium within the city confines, I would think. Philadelphia does, but fuck them.
They're just dirty.
Yeah, fuck them. By the way, Marcus Mariota looked like a champ last night.
I haven't seen the highlights yet. I'll give it a watch after we're done here. Games. And if you did you see Wes Schweitzer on Hard Knocks this week throwing snaps over Aaron Rodgers' head? I was like, nothing's changed then, Wes. Cheers.
There we go. Well, he's used to Taylor Heineke, who was shorter than Aaron Rodgers, and he threw him over his head too. So,
all right, gents.
Then we are done for today. We will see you guys Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday evening, we will talk with you then, and hopefully we'll have something to talk about that's positive and good. So, thank you for hitting. But, I will say goodbye for myself and Jesse.
Yeah, later. We'll see y'all on Tuesday. Or no, Tuesday.
Thanks.
After the game.
Thanks, Pete, for being with us. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
All right. See you guys later. Pete, you're going to have to remind me where you're from.
Is it Tuesday?
Is it Tuesday?
Tuesday.